Hey everybody, welcome back to another action figure unboxing and review, G.I. Joe Classified Edition. And today we're going to take a look at the retro carded Duke. I had said in the Scarlet and Recondo videos I had been thinking about getting an extra Duke, but had decided not to at the time because I didn't really hate the original one that came out back in 2020 in the first wave. And I was also waiting for the Mezco one, who's going to take my display spot until I get more space, and then I'll branch out. I'll have a separate shelf for Mezcos and Super 7s and whatnot. But the more I looked at the Duke, the better I liked it, and I decided, you know what, I probably will grab another one of him at one time, at some point. And then Pulse sold out of their retro carded Duke, so I was like, I better get him now. So I grabbed him from a third-party seller, Props and Replicas UK, so hats off to them. And their owner, Curtis, who I've dealt with many times in the past, is a good guy. He answers questions if you email him promptly. And they usually have pretty good deals on Props and Replica, so always happy to do business with them when I can. So here we have Retro Duke. And the same card stock Scarlet and Recondo came on. This is really nice stock, much better than we got with the Walmart only retro wave, which was really flimsy card stock. And here's the bubble with all the stuff inside of it. You can see it looks pretty good. He comes with the G.I. Joe laser rifle from the cartoon. It has a specific name, I think it's like XLR or something like that. Experimental laser rifle. I guess that's what that's supposed to mean. But I'm glad he comes with it. I think more figures should come with that, so you can have your entire team decked out in the cartoon with the cartoon rifles. I think that would be kind of cool. There have been some figures that probably should have come with it that didn't. So, like Hawk. Hawk definitely should have come with this. I did the Hawk review Friday. He definitely should have come with this gun instead of like the shotgun or gung-ho grenade launcher. Definitely should have come with this. In fact, I may just give that to Hawk in my display and just have Duke hold his submachine gun, which is similar to the one that the original figure came with in '83. So let's get Duke. Well, let's take a look at more of the card first. Here we have the artwork, similar to the one that came on the '83 carded package, or '84. Was he I think he was a mail order in '83, and then '84 he came carded. And here we have the back with the legalese on the bottom. There's his file card here in the multiple languages. You can pause if you want to read that stuff. And then the Recondo, Scarlet, and Duke, the other three figures we got in this wave. I'm really looking forward to the next wave because that beachhead looks solid. Eels and Snow Serpents, I bought one of each just so I could have them on card, but I'm not going to open them because I like the Snow Serpent and the Eels I already have. And they're not different enough to justify getting another one just to take out of the package. But Beachhead I did get two, so I will be reviewing Beachhead. And then of course he comes with a stand. It's got the Joe star on it, which is nice. And yeah, I cut open the bottom with a safety razor. And that way most of the bubble is intact, the card's intact, I don't damage it. That way if I ever want to... This one I won't display because I have an extra one. I got two of these. One of them I'm not going to open at all. But if I ever choose to sell this in the future, like way in the future, because I don't have kids, don't plan on ever having kids. So my collection's not going to get buried with me. I'm going to sell it off eventually before I die so that I can have the money and give it off to my wife. And someone may want a pristine card, but it's open so they can take it out and display it and play with it, you know. That's why I do that. because it's more valuable than just the loose figure, you know, if you include it with the card and everything. But I don't do this. I'm not doing this to like make money off of it. I'm just looking into the future for potential resale value when I'm no longer collecting and I'm getting to the point where I don't know if I'm going to live to see the next day or something like that. Yep, there goes this knife. Gotta get it before the carpet monster eats it. There we go. Now, Duke is one of those figures that people were clamoring for a re-release, like almost from the beginning. A lot of people didn't like the original portrait, which I didn't have a problem with. I thought it looked fine. And some people didn't like the Nerf gun it came with. Some people didn't like the... I'm gonna break this if I bend it too much. Some people didn't like the gold shin guards. They did do a second release called the Field variant, in which he had his shins and whatnot were painted a different color. They were like kind of a grayish, blackish color instead of gold. And that was a little bit more popular with people, but still, people wanted this figure. So, sorry about that pause. I just realized I didn't get the OG Duke because I wanted to show them next to each other. Here we have the original release of Duke. He has a different gun. I gave him one of the Action Force guns from the Valaverse line because I liked it better than the his Nerf gun that the figure came with wasn't that offensive, to be honest. It was probably one of the better looking ones, but I still prefer the more realistic looking gun. And as you can see, there's quite a few distinct changes here. Most notably, they removed the shield, the shin guards, which I'm very thankful for because I've said in many videos, but I hate those damn things. And as you can see, I have the gold shin guards on this one. I do have a version of the Field variant, but I kept it in the package. It's actually worth quite a bit of money right now. I think I might have actually sold that one, honestly. I think I bought it for like 20 something and sold it for like 50 or 60 something. It's probably worth more than that now, but I didn't hold on to it too long. We also have a pinless buck on Duke now, so that's awesome. And of course the face sculpts are entirely different. This Duke looks a little younger, like 20s maybe. This one looks more like late 30s, early 40s maybe. And of course this one looks more like the cartoon. Neither one of them looks as much as like the cartoon as the Super 7 one does, though. The Super 7 one, if you want a cartoon accurate Duke, Super 7's the way to go, because that one's fantastic. And they don't do a lot of fantastic figures. He also has the diaphragm cut, as you can see, while this one has the ab crunch. And other changes include his shirt is a lighter color now. He doesn't have those dark patches up around the collar and the shoulders, or the red. He's got the American flag there. He has a badge or medal, which is similar to the one he has on this figure, but not quite the same. And then the pants are a lighter color, of course. They're more of a green, where this one had a dark green or a gray kind of color. The belt's different. This is an overlay, and this is sculpted in. They both have the strap running across, but this one has the Joe Pro. This one doesn't because it's an older figure. It's new, but it's supposed to look like him at a younger age, or an older time period. That's what I'm trying to say. This is him like as he looked in the 80s. This is more of a modern looking Duke. So 80s Duke would not have a Joe Pro. The The holster is different. Pretty much everything is different, really. The only thing that they kept the same between the two releases is the backpack. The backpack mold is identical. The colors are different, but the mold itself is identical. And of course, this Duke has gloves and wrist gear. He's got a watch on that side and a strap on that side. And this one's got nothing, except you can see those veins on his forearm. Yep. So, let's put the other Duke aside and take a look at this Duke. I pretty much already gone over his look already. There's some paint apps you can see on the belt there, the brown. They painted the pouches, but that's about it. And they painted the grenade black there, but that's about it for the strap around his chest. There's a nice American flag tampo I already pointed out there. Three overlays rather. He's got this strap across his chest, the holster on his right thigh, and then the knife sheath down here on his left boot. The boot's a nice brown color, and I don't know what that's supposed to be. I've never seen his shoes that laced up like that before. I don't know how you can, like, there's like no visible laces. I don't know what that kind of interlocking mechanism that is to get his boots on, but whatever. I'm not a shoe guy. If that actually exists in real life, something like that, let me know. Yeah, he's got some pockets, of course, on his pants, but they're not colored or any manner. And, of course, Duke with the blonde hair. He's famous for being a blondie. There are some people who are wanting a hawk in the blonde hair, and we might get him. In '82, the original line of the '80s Real American Hero, Colonel Hawk, as he was known then, he hadn't been promoted to general yet, came with the MMS, and that figure had blonde hair. I think they changed him to a brunette because they brought in Duke as the blondie, and they wanted to differentiate the two. They really look similar, to be honest. So sometimes it's hard to tell. I think he stayed blonde in the comics, in the Marvel comics, so that kind of made it hard whenever the two of them were together. Kind of, especially if they were in street clothes, you never knew which one was which. So let's go over articulation here. Duke's got the ball joint at the top of the neck, no hinge. Like I said before, I really wish Classified would start doing the hinge. They do have some figures with hinges, but not a lot, not enough. He can look forward about that far, and he can look up quite a bit, considering he doesn't have a hinge. That's pretty good. He can do the Exorcist. He's got that tilt going, looking like he's about to get finished in Mortal Kombat. His arm goes all the way around. He does have the butterfly, but it's the side only, not the up-down like Hawk had. He can get just above 90 on the T-pose. Bicep cut. Double-jointed pinless arms. Always like to see that pinless. The vertical hinge on the left, or on the right rather, and the horizontal on the left. Like I said before, he's got that diaphragm joint, but he also has a ball at the waist, so he can twist there, and he can, like he did last summer, he can do the chubby checker, and he's got all kinds of tilt. And he can also twist at the diaphragm alone, and he can tilt side to side and all the way around there. All in all, he can get that far forward, and he can get a lot further back, although you're gonna see the gap there if you bend him back too far. Drop down hips. He can do the Van Damme, the full Van Damme. He can kick out way high. Duke has got some flexibility there. And wow, he can kick back a lot too. Okay, this is a decent cut in the leg here. They need to do this for all the figures. Most of them can't get this kind of height. Like, he can probably put quick kick to shame. Let's see here. Yeah, look at that. Duke's got some good getting some good martial arts poses there. So he can, or he's got the thigh cut, rather. Double jointed, pinless knees. He does have a boot cut. His foot can hinge back all the way like a ballerina. And it can hinge forward way far too. He's got rocker there and peg holes at the bottom. Okay, so accessories out of the box. He comes with 2 trigger finger hands, but he also has a pair of fists. So if you want to pose him punching out Cobra Commander or something like that, you can do that. Stand up, you. So yeah, he's got a pair of fists, and they both have side-to-side horizontal hinges. You don't need vertical with fists because you're not holding anything. And like I mentioned before, he's got the backpack, which is similar to the Duke, the original one, just a different color. This is more of a light beige kind of color, and this was a green, medium green color. They both had the trench tool there, and canteens on the top. They painted the caps black on this one, though. They didn't do that on the other one, the original. There's also writing on this one, as you can see. It basically says, G.I. Joe, a real American hero. Wherever there's trouble over land, sea, and air, G.I. Joe is there. Just like in the intro song to the cartoon. So he's got a hole in the strap there, and you can slide the backpack. You can thread it through the hole in the strap and into the hole in his back, and that'll hold the strap into place, so that's good. He also comes with this helmet, which is similar to the original one came with. And he's got this face shield on it, or the eye shield rather. And this is similar to the helmet that Flash and Grand Slam, I think Grand Slam came with this helmet too. Flash definitely did. So they've got the tooling for this now, which means we can have a Flash at the very least, and the Grand Slam as well if his helmet had the visor. It's been a long time. You'll have to forgive me. Over 40 years old. I don't remember all this stuff like I used to. And I have a good memory too. Here we have his binoculars, also similar to the ones the 80s figure came with. Painted all in black. I don't think the 80s one was all in black. I think it was green. In order to get it over his head and over his arm, you got to pop the head. So you can either just hang it over his arm like that, or you can just hang it over his head. It's a flexible material, so it goes over quite easily. And if you want to keep it from like sticking out like that, you could slide it under the overlay piece there. And that'll let it sit a little flatter against the body instead of before. Of course, now this is sticking out. So it's up to you. Yeah. Personally, I probably won't pose. I won't display him with the binoculars. Or if I do, I'll have them up over his arm and his head. Or just on his arm like so. He also comes with his knife, which is nice silver painted blade, and it's got brown hilt, and it even painted the top gold. So they three different paint apps on this tiny little knife, which is quite astonishing because they're usually not that good with the paint apps. This is more like NECA style paint rather than G.I. Joe Classified. It's kind of rubbery though, as you can see. It's flopping all over the place. But it slides right into the boot holster, or his sheath. He also comes with this all black pistol. It's got some design there, but you can't really see much of it because it's all black. It doesn't have like any kind of wash or anything. It does have a peg hole in the tip for blast effects, and you can slide that into his holster on his right thigh. He comes with this submachine gun, which is similar to the one the original one came with, and this is also the gun that they gave Stalker, I believe. It does have a removable magazine, and it's a pretty good design. I like the look of the gun, and it's got this stock. Sorry, word was not coming to me right away. get in there. And lastly, he comes with the G.I. Joe, I believe this is called the XLR rifle. And also has a peg hole in the front. Oh yeah, that one, this gun does have a peg hole in the front. I didn't show that. And this gun's famous for being used in the cartoon series, the Sunbow cartoon. This is what they all used. I don't think they used any other guns. Even Roadblock used this gun. And the strange thing about this, if you remember the intro to the G.I. Joe movie, well, Hawk was sitting up on the Statue of Liberty somewhere firing this gun, and it was ejecting brass out the side. It's like, is this a laser gun? Is it a machine gun? You can't really tell. Because if it's a laser gun, it shouldn't be firing brass out the side, I wouldn't think. I mean, if it's a machine gun, it shouldn't be shooting lasers out. Unless everything they're firing is like a tracer round or something, I don't know. But these guns are really cool. It's nostalgic for those of us who enjoyed the Sunbow cartoon growing up as a kid. As you can see, it's green with a black stock. And they definitely need to give us more of these with the releases. I think Scarlet had one of these. Grunt came with one of these. But we need more. Every Joe should come with one of these as part of their gear. And there we have the Retro Duke. I am glad I picked up another one. He will look good on my shelf until I get the Mezco. I know a lot of people aren't sold on the Mezco because it doesn't look like Duke. A lot of people don't like the face, but I'm not that fussed. I think it looks kind of cool. It's good to see a different take on Duke every once in a while. And you know, this one was a different take. And like I said before, I kind of like this one too. That's why I didn't get the Retro right away. I figured, you know, I don't mind this one. I'll hold on to it. But now that I have the Retro, I definitely have a preference for this one over the original. I don't know what I'll do with the original. I mean, he's going to get packed away for now. And the Retro one will take his place in my display. But eventually, I'll have more space. I can set up multiple displays, so I'll probably have classified and retro separated. And I'll put all my retro figures in a specific retro display. And the other classified figures will be in a separate display. So I can have him and Scarlet and all those figures that were released in standard form, not retro. The Bellhop Cobra Commander, you know, so on and so forth. And that's Duke. Stay tuned on Tuesday. I'm going to be reviewing Buzzer. And then Friday, I'll be reviewing Ripper. I posted up a new poll on Saturday to vote on which figures I do reviews of for next week, next Tuesday and next Friday. So vote on that if you want to see a specific figure of the 5 groups I have, the 5 pairings I have listed. Make sure you go to my community tab and vote on that. Like and subscribe down at the bottom. Give me some comments if you want to voice your opinion about the figure, voice your support. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.